Hello again, and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is Jesse here, aka BGFH, and I am back for another Access Unlocked video. And this time we are taking a look at a game that I've played many times on the channel and stream, Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. More specifically, Left 4 Dead 2, seeing as how all the campaigns from both of them are in the sequel. But I wanted to try to just describe, the Access Unlocked series is, like I said, basically where I take a look at a game or a genre, a game concept, and try to explain or give some ideas for developers on how they could add features to make their title more blind accessible, visually impaired accessible, but especially totally blind accessible. People are probably thinking, well, how would you make a huge complex world like Left 4 Dead, and especially with all the action that's going on, how would you make that blind accessible? So that's what we're going to try to come up with some ideas in this video. And the nice thing about Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 is there are things in it that already make it a really fun, really enjoyable experience for blind players, because the audio design in this game is actually fantastic. That's one thing that I loved initially myself, in addition to some of the visual highlights that it does for things like character silhouettes, items and guns and things like that. But the audio work in it, both the sound effects and the musical cues, are both very helpful, even as a sighted player playing this. Like, I'm legally blind myself, but I have enough vision to generally play the game pretty well. So the visual highlights and things like that, the use of lighting to go like, oh, here's where you should go, follow the lights. That type of thing. So there's visual markers, but also the audio work is actually really good. And I think given some additional sound effects and some sort of a navigation system, a game like Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2, I think maybe could be made accessible, especially if developing it from the ground up and implementing some of these things from the beginning. So we're on the menu screen here, and we're going to select our campaign. We're going to just start with a little Dark Carnival here. And of course, the first thing being narrated menus for a blind player. That would be ultimately the most helpful. And games are already doing it. AAA games are doing it. Indie games are doing it. Eagle Island is a good example of an indie game. Sequence Storm has done a fantastic job of narrating in-game text-to-speech for all of its menus and all of its gameplay. Sequence Storm is a fantastic example. I know it's not a shooter, but you want to look at a couple great examples of mainstream games. Even I believe The Division 2 has some narration. Crackdown 3 has menu narration. Now, a lot of the games like Crackdown 3, The Division, the problem is, like, the main menus and stuff, the option menus, a lot of those are spoken, but not so much of the in-game menus. So, like, if you have to upgrade your character, manage inventory in an RPG, those types of things really haven't been done on a AAA scale. The closest I would say that comes to that is Eagle Island, because that, your menus and stuff, your menu, your inventory, your options, everything speaks in that game, which is fantastic. Shout out to them. So, of course, text-to-speech narration or something, whether it be in through the game itself, through Unity, through Unreal, through Source, which is what we're in here, having some sort of text-to-speech, and if not text-to-speech, pre-recorded narration is another option, but the problem with pre-recorded is you make a change to your menu or you add an item. Text-to-speech, it'll just read whatever is there based on the labels, whereas something like Mortal Kombat 11 that uses pre-recorded, somebody actually has to go in and manually record them saying each menu option. So if they add something, if they change, if they reword something, that's extra development work and time and cost. So that would be one kind of example for text-to-speech. So let's go into the campaign and we'll try to explore how we might make a campaign like Left 4 Dead accessible. So, like I said, I'm legally blind and I play this game all the time. I've been hooked on it for like the past 10 years plus since it's been out, which is scary. I actually also have my girlfriend Riley back here, and she listens to this game a lot while I stream it and while I've played the videos and stuff like that, recorded the videos. And, you know, the thing is, there's a lot that she can also understand about the game. Just based on the audio.
Bad news, guys, but unless Ellis knows how to build a monster truck, we ain't driving through this.
Sorry, guys. Guess it wasn't such a hot idea after all.
Hell, it got us this far. We'll find another way to New Orleans.
All right. So we are on our... We got some weapons in front of us. We're on the road behind this Jimmy Gibbs stock car here. Now, first thing we want is we want to have some sort of constant or reoccurring audio to tell me that there are weapons, that there's a med kit in front of me. So there could be like, maybe like a pill rattling sound for pills. There could be some sort of a different sound for this med kit here. There could be, a kind of a little, like a shotgun cocking sound for the shotgun here. Maybe some other sort of, reloading reloading audio to tell me that there's a little machine gun, assault rifle, whatever the heck that is, whatever you would classify that as. Let me turn this down just a tad. There we go. So the main thing is the blind player has to know.
Shit, I used to go there when I was a kid.
Oh, good. Now we can die there as adults.
That's one of the best lines. It still makes me laugh every time. But the blind player needs to know what's in the environment. They need to know that, just like when they, the players themselves, the characters will call out, hey, there's some weapons over here, there's a med kit over here. But they need more than just a one-time call out. They need like a constant thing, because if I have a good pair of headphones, I can hear, is something in front of me, is something off to the right, off to the left. And right now I am using an audio plugin for Windows 10. I'm not going to specifically say what it is at the moment because it's not quite accessible. We're trying to get hold of the developer and work on making the app, the mobile app and the desktop app, more accessible. But if you are a developer interested in using that type of plugin or whatever, we can definitely just DM me, let us know, or leave a comment or whatever, and give us your contact information. We'll let you know what we're using, because this game sounds really great on its own. But recently we discovered this app that adds a degree of kind of virtual surround or virtual enhancement to the audio mixing, and it sounds, especially in this game, it sounds really freaking good. So let's walk forward here. Navigation is the main trouble, because, and especially in a game like this, like a lot of games that a blind gamer would play right now, be it an action game, a role-playing game, some of the ones I mentioned, like I said, you have things like Swamp, Manamon, A Hero's Call, A Blind Legend. Again, just go look at my PC accessible game spotlight video or my iOS accessible game spotlight video. You'll find several games where the player does actually navigate kind of like either through an overhead or first-person perspective, but the environments are all kind of flat. You may have several things to kind of move around. You got to get around, the different stalls and, in a market, or go around the stables, or go navigate your way through the castle, or whatever it is you're doing. or navigate your way through the town, you know, finding your way through people's houses to collect supplies in swamp or whatever. Left 4 Dead and most of your typical AAA action games are gonna be a lot more complicated. We've got a freeway here with a bunch of cars that are stuffed up the path here, and if I walk, eventually I can't go anywhere. I gotta jump over this car, I gotta jump on the trunk of this car, and then I can get over.
Go on for miles.
Reloading.
So you can already hear
That's
the zombies
one theory.
or the infected. But the first part is just knowing that there's an obstacle, so you might actually have to have... You wouldn't necessarily have to have a sound effect for every single type of object, because that would be insane. There's like a gazillion objects in this game. But you maybe would have to have something like, oh, you've butted up against a wall. It's like if I got over to this trailer here, I can't jump on this. There's nothing I can do. I can get around it, so I have to know that I'm kind of rubbing against that wall. But this car, I know that I can get on the roof, so maybe you would have kind of a thing to say, hey, you can jump, there's an object here, but you can jump on or over it. More just, you know, more character dialogue, maybe, you know, like, oh, you know, jumping over this fence, and sometimes they will do that. They're like, through this house, or, you know, under this bridge, safe house up ahead. You know, they call out some of this stuff. So just thinking about how we're navigating, and I got to stay alive here. In this game, since you have companions, be they human or AI, as you know, you hear the zombies, you hear the people that are on either side. Maybe you turn on an extra mode where you have targeting. So as I'm turning to the left and right, you know, you can kind of maybe tell either if something is centered, or maybe you don't have a specific audio sound when you have a zombie centered, because then you can just fire. But maybe you should have like a beep or something. You know, if I walk over to my buddy over here, I don't want to shoot him. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to hurt Nick. So I would need to know that's not a zombie, that's actually a friend. So when I move over to the left, I can shoot. But if I were to shoot him, you know, you want to, you don't want to, you don't want to be the guy who constantly team kills. So again, we're moving around, just needing to know what, you know, like I said, I'm listening for zombies, a whole bunch of them, and you know, like the musical cue, you know that kind of rapid drum beat, that is a horde. You know, that's going to be a horde of something coming at you. Your regular infected. Now, then you also have your special infected. So you have your boomers, your jockeys, your spitters, your all these different things. Tanks. I mean, the tank is blatantly obvious because you hear the tank music just coming in. You're like, oh hell, here we go. But the thing is, like, it's quiet right now. But even if I'm playing, you know, Riley could be listening the same, you know, listening as we play, and, you know, she'll hear things based on either the musical cue and or the sound effect, you know, oh, there's a jockey, there's a smoker, there's a whatever. So I'm just going to play a little bit, and she'll tell you what's going on. Oops, okay. That's alright.
Charger!
So they call it out, but... Yeah. Okay, yeah. Oh. Yep. So she's pretty close. She's kind of right behind me here. So we're just gonna keep on trucking down this freeway ramp here.
Down this off ramp.
So again, you can hear right where the guys are. You can kind of tell. Yep. And like I said, she'll call them out before we probably even see them. A lot of times, even as I'm playing. Yep.
What is this shit on me?
Okay. So we all know those are commons.
Reloading.
So again, we'd want to hear some noise to tell me that, hey, there's an ammo pile here. So maybe some kind of clinking, you know, like shells or something, like some shells that, you know, there's a constant sound so that the blind user can navigate
we've
to
seen
it.
in 100 miles.
We'll head towards the searchlights. If there's an evac, it'll be there.
Okay, we're gonna go on over to this motel. Some windows there. Yep.
Reloading.
Now some of them, they do just stand there until you really trigger them, so you wouldn't necessarily know there's a zombie there until they get mad and kind of
Let's cut through the motel.
aggro to you. Okay. Yeah, I didn't need it, to be honest. Uh-oh.
Reloading here.
Okay. So again, you would want to have indicators for key things in the environment. Again, this window, I could jump. Well, actually, I'm not sure if I'm too tall. Nope, I can get in. So you might have a, you know, you might have, as I'm walking up here, you might have something to indicate, hey, there's a ledge here that I can, if I walk, I'm just going to keep walking in place. But if I know that I can jump over it, boom, I'm jumping through the window. Or if there's a door to my right here, I would hear some sort of a constant door sound to say, hey, I can either open or break this, because some doors you can break, some doors you can't. So having some sort of a door indicator sound, because when a blind player uses it, they would basically center so it doesn't come out of their left-hand headphone or their right-hand headphone. It would be, you line it up, you would hear this constant sound, and then click, hit your use button, and you open the door.
Hey, search the rooms.
Yep, that would be a jockey, all right. Now this troublesome car over here, you probably would want to have a general little chirp, a quiet little chirping sound in addition to, because you don't want to shoot that car. You do not want to shoot a car that has an alarm unless you want to trigger a horde. So having that extra sound effect, you know, like an actual, just maybe a little comment, a little chirp, 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 chirp.
Let's get up on the walkway.
It wants to be constant because it does do it, but it doesn't do it enough.
Right, if it only does it once, yeah, you hear where it is, but then you get spun around as you're fighting zombies. You're not oriented to it, and then you'll end up shooting the dang car, drawing in a horde. Which isn't good, especially if you're already low on health or resources. Shut up. I love the sound of... Can you hear it okay? Okay. I hear something. So there's a pill. So maybe, again, you want to hear, you know, somebody kind of...
Hey, we might need these.
Jingling a...
Reloading.
No, that would be a smoker.
Oh, I thought I heard one talking distance too.
I don't hear one of those yet. What's that?
Yeah, I did hear him, but I thought I heard a witch.
Oh, yeah, you did. Okay, because now I'm getting closer. Yeah, you did, actually. You did hear it. Yeah, because now I hear it.
I heard the smoker. I was going to say it, and then they didn't. Reloading. But yeah, I heard
Ow. Yeah, he got me all right. Get the heck off me. Come on, guys. Thank you. All right. Oh, yeah.
Quit fussing and let me heal you.
Reloading.
And you hear another little of our friends coming up, too.
Me up real good.
Actually, I hear three. I hear a hunter. And I hear a boomette. You can actually tell in Left 4 Dead. Yep, Left 4 Dead 2. You can actually tell between a boomer and a boomette, as we call them.
That's the boomer's girlfriend.
Yeah, I didn't know if they actually I mean, they just kind of generically call them boomers, but Yep, she's dead.
That car alarm,
Yeah.
just very slightly. You gotta be conscious.
Through this door.
Yeah, you would need to have it kind of like every, every 2 seconds or so, chirp, 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 chirp. Yep. Because that way you know that it's there. So the other problem is, as far as you know, you don't know that we're necessarily on a walkway right now. So, that we're going up, we're fighting on the upper catwalks of this motel. So you have to be able to convey, wait till the zombie infestation dies down for 2 seconds. I might just have to pause it. Yeah. Huh? More, yeah, see, there's your car alarm again. Alright, so let's pause it here. So, right here there's a railing. If I walk, I won't fall off, but there are parts right here where I would fall off of this catwalk. So I would also need to know some elevation changes. I would need to know either not so much slopes as much, unless there's a slope in a place where you can't go, but especially like a cliff or a drop-off. Like if I fell down here, I would probably get injured because it's kind of high up.
Smoker.
That would be a smoker. Where are you, buddy? Oh, he's up there. Oh. Smoker. No, this... Well, no, he was super far away. Alright, well, let's just keep moving. But yeah, so you need to know about really sharp elevation changes. So we're going to go through, again, figuring out, okay, we've got a door entrance here. And again, what a lot of other places will do is they'll have a combination of like some sort of a compass to tell you north, south, east, west, or even northwest, southeast, whatever, to kind of get your bearings, because especially when you got all this action around you, it's hard to tell what's going on.
Hey, I got some frag rounds here.
You can even have some sort of like open space, because if I'm walking here, I know there's a wall to my right if I'm looking at it, but then, okay, how do I know there's not a door that I can open here, but there's a passage that I have to go through. So some of them have used either beeps or tones or sound effects. Some have used... Oh boy, hang on. Spitter emerging. Oh dear God, that's a big puddle. Oh my God. That was like the whole frickin' hotel room. I guess. Yeah, about... Well... Yeah. Well, not only that, but that... I mean, she didn't just do a puddle. That was like a giant frickin'...
Oh, man.
Horfed up something. But, other games like Shades of Doom, which is an accessible kind of a attempt at a first-person shooter that came out many years ago, they would use wind sounds. So if I was standing right here, there wouldn't be anything. But as I'm moving up, I would hear wind coming from my left-hand side and go, oh, there's open space there. There's open space, so let's heal really fast.
Wait a second. I gotta heal.
Yeah.
Ellis is the man.
Oh, yeah.
Especially Left 4 Dead 2. I love the characters in both of them, but like, yeah, the characters are really what make this game. I mean, they're so good. I love them. So, again, this one, I have to jump out. I can't go through this door, because if I do, I'm going to drop. So that would be an elevation pitch, or that would be an elevation sound to go, watch that first step. But then I would need to know, okay, I'm going to butt up against this windowsill, but I need to jump over it, like so. You need to tell me that, hey, there's something you can vault over, essentially. Yep, smoker, another car alarm.
And it clicks.
Yep, oh, sorry, not Zoe, Rochelle. And that charger needs to die. Just listening for more specials. But there's quite the horde. Okay, so now we're going to go around. Honestly, the hardest part of this is the navigation, because, you know, this is not like a corridor shooter. There are wide open areas. You know, yeah, there were rooms up. Yep, there were rooms up there. But now we're in this giant open area. We got hills going down.
Hey, watch your footing. This gully looks steep.
Right. So Ellis told us about that.
Smoker!
Beaches, folks.
No!
I heard it before you did.
Yep.
I hear a hunter too somewhere.
And we got another shotgun. We'll grab that. So this part, you kind of have to almost... Oh, that's a hunter. Yeah. So this part, you kind of have to let the player know that, oh, if I fall at the wrong area, I'm gonna injure myself.
Whoa, whoa, hey!
Whoa,
shit!
Yeah, I love this guy.
Charger!
A little late for that. Yeah. So directions, you know, you definitely want to have some sort of a compass. You definitely want to have, like, audio beacons.
Reloading!
There's not really one set way to do it. There's been different attempts. You know, some stuff you could convey, you know, with like text-to-speech or something. But even the more you can do with, you know, some stuff would be better just with like a subtle audio cue, because if you get things too verbose, then you're constantly hearing text-to-speech, and then it takes you out of the atmosphere. Yeah, haptic if you're using a controller. I'm using a keyboard and mouse, so there's no vibration, but if you're using a controller, as you get closer to an object, there's been phone games that have done that. Like, the quicker the vibration, the closer you are to something. You know, you have to have separate audio cues, again, for these are guns, this is a gas can, this is a propane tank, you know, or an explosive. Explosive versus an incendiary. You know, you could have a separate little, you know, the little beep beep sound, a flat. You could have a flat beeping sound for a pipe bomb. You know, like instead of raising pitch.
Oh, shit. Just get up.
You could have like a. Okay, you know what? Let's use some pills.
Good to go.
So we can try to get to the safe room.
I'm reloading.
Tank!
Yeah. And I am so boned. I am so boned right now because I have no health. Let's get at least some damage on it. Die. Please die. Please. Oh, well, okay, well, he hurt me, that's for sure. Alright, that zombie needs to die. Well, we'll still pop him a little. Probably going to be black and white.
Go on your feet. Let's go.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
So again, this is a good audio cue saying, don't die again. You have no health. And if you go down again, you're done. So it's not just black and white. There's good audio cue.
Hard, I don't mean to be cursing myself, but I think I'm gonna die.
Safe house!
Heads up!
Okay, so again, having a different sound, not just for a door,
Hope
but
you
a
don't
safe
mind, I'm
house
gonna take
door.
this first aid kit
Hey,
here.
get in here!
Okay, let's heal up
Somebody
really
wait up.
fast.
I gotta heal.
This is some grim shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Alright, so there we go.
We are the kings of the world.
And you could have either like text-to-speech and say, you know, hey, Tank Slayer, you know, or even pre-recorded, you know, you could kind of have something, you know, Tank Slayer was Zoe, or melee damage was Ellis, or, you know, whatever, if you wanted to convey that information as well. There are ways to do that. Several other mainstream games, as I said in the beginning of the video.
To play here?
Never heard of them. They any good?
Yeah, they're a pretty big deal, all right.
Hell yes. I got all their albums. Even their new stuff that ain't no good. Best light show in the business, though.
Yeah, I saw him in 07. Front row center. Lost my eyebrows.
I
You wouldn't believe a southern guy would like metal. And I had to do that accent.
I love, like, again, I wish there was even more conversation. I could listen to these guys banter back and forth all day. They're so good. So good.
Whoever they got, we know one, we know two of them. We know two of the original, but...
Yeah. Yeah.
Reloading.
So, hi. Be there a melee weapon in here? My preference, even?
Yeah, where's...
Well, we've got a bat, which is acceptable. It's no fire axe, but it's a bat. That makes a good, nice, meaty sound. Thump. I love meleeing, too. I mean, it's impossible to basically say this is the definitive way to make this accessible. Yep. And I heard another buddy, too, and his music. So you hear the noises, but you also hear the music. You hear the dun 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 dun. That's your boomer. So again, paying attention.
Look here.
Oops. To your musical
here.
cue. Nah, I'll go with the bat because
I'm
it's
reloading.
a little more sweeping.
Yeah, hear that? Hear how it sounds like you're gonna just that?
Yep, there's your boomer. And when they once they appear, you hear their little tone. Now that piano, that particular beat or that little rhythm, when they appear, that is your charger, based on the music, the piano. The little jockey has kind of some high pitched ding ding ding, you know, kind of piano.
It cackles like a horse. Almost laughs like a horse neigh.
Kinda, yeah.
It's the best way to describe that.
Okay. Yeah, and it's got the high-pitched piano, so you know both by the music and its sounds. Okay.
And of course the spitter.
Oh yeah.
Reloading.
I'm trying to remember what her musical cue is. I know it when I hear it.
The hunter.
Oh, there's a better thing too.
Well, somebody just got themselves an axe.
Yeah! Fire
Sounds
axe,
like
baby.
a hunter.
Best weapon in the
I
game.
heard that, coach, before you did.
Hot stuff's ready.
See, like that.
Let's go.
Out of our way, Fugly. Yeah,
We got a hunter.
we got a dead hunter.
Uh-oh.
Boomer.
That is a boomette.
They still call it a boomer, but it's the boomer.
Yeah. We kind of coined that.
Our little catchphrase.
That's kind of our.
That's what Zach did. That's where I got it from.
Oh, okay.
From Wow Such Gaming, highly recommended channel.
Yep.
He describes all the specials, what
Elephant
they
ears.
look like.
Listen. No, I was talking about Coach. He's talking about his fair food again. Elephant ears, corn dogs. Corn dogs. Yep, State Fair ones too. Official.
You can have some corn dogs.
Yep, official State Fair corn dogs too. They're official.
Hey, can we stop Mexican candy? Seriously.
So, you know, and again, in an environment like this, you definitely need not only a compass, but I would say maybe a general sort of, maybe head this way, you know, maybe, you know, like a major, like every time there's a, let's say, I know there's one coming up. Where is it? Oh shit, dude, sorry.
Watch where you're shooting.
Yeah, I didn't mean that, Nick. You kind of got in my way when I was going to shoot that guy. Sometimes you see little houses, like little arrows, visually to kind of tell you where to go. And you could convey that same thing. Yep. And you heard that kind of piano too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Katana here.
Nah, we don't.
We got the axe. We got the fire axe because this thing just swaths everything. Yeah, there's
Weapons
a
over here.
lot of boomettes this time.
Just because she wants to torture me, that's what it is.
Dun 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 dun. That's your boomer. That's your boomer music.
I would be getting girlfriend. Ew.
Yeah.
You don't leave one, none of them.
Reloading.
I'm not saying that. He describes one of you're totally blind.
Right.
Yep. So now, as long as you hear this, your vision is blurred. You're attracting more horde. So again, you also want to make sure that when you're looking at one of your buddies, you get some sort of a cue to say, "Hey, don't fire at them. If they're the first thing in your sight, don't shoot." We got a smoker.
God. But Zach, he describes
Yep. Oh, please say it. Please say it.
Do it. You know you wanna.
Holy shit, guys! Kittyland!
Yes!
Oh, I love it.
Yes!
I love it.
Reloading.
Over again.
Reloading.
See that? And then you hear that kind of stringed instrument. That's the hunter.
And the hunter too.
That's the hunter. Eat it.
Go in there!
Yeah, it is definitely a spitter. So that kind of dun 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 dun. That's your spitter. Oh, I think I hear.
Reloading.
Yeah, you hear what I hear, right? You hear it?
Clown.
No.
The tank? Oh no.
You hear that? The witch?
Uh-huh. And that clown you wanna shut up.
Yep, the clown you definitely want to shut up too. So there's certain ones you'll kind of know.
Hey, fire witch. Y'all better kill them lights.
We are clown and everything.
Yeah.
That clown's attracting the horde.
Reloading.
And you want to have a few specific sounds for, interactable things like in the fairgrounds here. You've got the little whack-a-mole game, you got the little Mr. Peanut, you've got the little pistachio guy where you can do the strength machine.
Time for this. Get up.
Oh, hell no, really? Okay, heal me up so I can shoot this
Hey,
guy.
I thought I heard one.
Yeah. No, you were not. Ow. I just healed you, bastard. Uh-oh. Oh, no, 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 no. Back away, back away. Gotta reload. Thank you for dying. Thank you. Eat it.
Nice.
Wow, I gotta heal again.
Yeah, I thought I heard one.
Actually, I think he got up, but I don't know if he actually healed me.
Oh, yeah.
So in a big, huge open world like this, yeah, so see right here, there is, I think there's one right over here. Yeah.
Did you just say see the bitch?
Yeah, he did.
I thought he did.
And of course she's going to be right in our way. But you see that little house there? It might be helpful to have some sort of a general, like, maybe head in this direction. Objective northeast or, whatever, so that way you know sort of where you're supposed to go. Because these levels are, they're not linear, they're not open world, but they're not linear either. And if you can't see, especially with the respawning enemies constantly with the AI director in a game like this.
Pete's problem.
Coach.
Love that guy.
Shut up, witch. Yeah. I don't remember. It was one of our recent streams. Yep. Yep. So again, maybe you want to have a pipe bomb sound there, you know, like a little beep, 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 you know, instead of it going up, just a constant low beeping.
Weapons over here.
You got a machine gun sound. You could have, you know, a couple little gun sounds to let you know that there's weapons. And, you know, so if I'm looking this way, you would hear them off to the left. And you want to center them and then hit E to pick them up. So, like I said, this game is so complex. I can't possibly describe like a definitive way to account for everything. And here's a medicine cabinet that you can open. So maybe, yeah.
Sounds like it's off to the right.
I think it's coming from behind and to the left
To receive.
because I turned around. There it is. Dead now.
It was to the right. And then it
Yeah, I turned around because I'm like, well, it's not up the stairs,
Reloading.
so I turned around. I'm like, it's got to be coming from behind. And again, we got a ladder, so you know, maybe a little clanging sound of, you know, or like, you know, the little noise that maybe when you hear somebody carrying a metal ladder, you know, you hear like this kind of rattling of a ladder to let the player know. Damn smoker. Get him, guys. Come on. Thank you. Oh yeah.
don't know it's fast enough. These guys are quick.
I hear a few unpleasant things. Indeed. So, I'm gonna wrap up the video here. I know I haven't done a super descriptive job on all things, but these, whether it's Left 4 Dead or some other first-person shooter, and this even counts for like single player or even multiplayer like we've got here, letting you know kind of where your teammates are by audio. You know, and what a lot of games will do, Swamp is a good example, you can toggle certain things on and off. So maybe if you're trying to locate someone because you need to be healed or they need to heal you, you could hit a button and you would toggle the sound to indicate teammates. And then you would hear that, and then when you didn't want that anymore, you would hit it again, it would turn it off. If you wanted to hear kind of a direction of, hey, where am I supposed to go? Uh-oh, I didn't have my gun out in time. I had my axe. You know, you could toggle those types of sounds on and off, because otherwise you get super overwhelmed with constant sounds all the time, which is actually not helpful because it's too much to process, and it's what you're trying to actually hear gets lost in all the other chaos. So we'll try to make it to the next save point here, and then we'll wrap up the video. We'll do the first couple levels. Riley can keep calling out infected and things. So again, we would want to find out, you know, stairs. Something, you know, like this one we would have to know, hey, we need to go up, so we need to have some sort of like an like a stair sound or something to say, like, you know, hey, we can't just walk through this way because it's blocked off by this generator here or whatever. Like, this is, we can't go this way, it's fenced. So the only way we can go is up these stairs. So navigation is by far... Oh.
I think I hear a boomer off in the distance too.
Reloading.
I hear that
I find a
stupid
bigger
witch.
tank in this place. I'm gonna be a one-man chief.
I love him.
Never will play this game.
Hey, got some ammo right here.
Yeah.
Hey, some guns here.
Actually, I better heal
Did
because
somebody wait up?
we're going to
gotta
do a
heal.
little crescendo event here.
That fixed me up real good.
Yeah.
burning through shit.
Okay, we're gonna go down. Where's the jockey? Damn, man, would you die? How many times do I gotta shoot you? So we need to know that there's a switch here. We need to know that there's some sort of interactable object, or mandatory interactable object. We need to zero in on where this little breaker is here, this little electrical thing. And now we're gonna need to know this part. These crescendos are gonna be one of the hardest parts because there's a never-ending thing of zombies until I shut this switch off. I can see right where to go, but you have to navigate around these picnic tables and around this little building here. It's not just go in this direction toward the switch. You have to navigate around the fences, around the buildings. So some way of either just having some sort of a big audio beacon that will kind of constantly stay in front of you a little bit. So as you're making progress, it'll be forward, or it'll maybe move off forward and to the right as we're doing here. Let's try to get this. Come on, guys. And I'm thinking of the beginning of A Blind Legend, which is an accessible audio game. You're a lot of times following your daughter, and that's exactly what they do. She'll walk ahead a little bit, and she's like, I'm over here, and you could do that with voice, but you could just do that with some sort of audio sound effect, and it would just kind of constantly pull you forward. That whether you're in a crescendo event or not, in a game like this, you could turn a feature like that on or off. Because a lot of sighted games, a lot of take a look at like Fable 2, where you have that glowy breadcrumbs. I know there's other ones that have like Rage 2 or Saints Row or Red Faction Guerrilla. When you're in a vehicle, you have those glowy arrows.
Reloading!
Mafia 3. So you could do kind of the same thing of just like, hey, you could turn on or off, you could follow this audio path if you're getting too easily lost. And we'll go to the end of the level here.
Hey, there's a safe room in the Tunnel of Love.
Oh yeah, Tunnel of Love.
Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go in here, and then we're going to listen.
Into the Tunnel of Love.
We're going to see what babble they say, because it's always just amusing, and then we're going to wrap up the video.
We are a right damn good team.
Like I said, there's way too much to cover. This game is so complex, and like I said, I've played it for so long, like I don't even think about it. Everything is just like instinctual. I know the sounds, I know the visual highlights, I know the layout, I know exactly where to go in a lot of the campaigns, the maps. Alright, let's see what they say here. And then we'll wrap it up. Because it's pretty damn funny.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That fixed me up real good.
Well,
All right.
Looks like we're going through the Tunnel of Love, people. Stay close to me.
I think we should clarify what constitutes close.
So there you go. Like I said, that's access unlocked for Left 4 Dead, or sort of a first-person shooter. Like I said, a lot of the same things apply, whether you're doing it solo, whether you're playing with a team, be it human or AI companions. But just some things to consider when you're doing some kind of open environment, be it action, shooter, role-playing game. There are other audio games. Like I said, you can check out youtube.com/illegally-cited. There are other access unlocked videos there. There are playlists if you want to get an idea of how other audio-specific games have implemented this sort of a thing. You can look at the PC Accessible Game Spotlight videos or the iOS Accessible Game Spotlight videos, because there are several titles that have different types of navigation. Again, I've mentioned a lot of them in here. Swamp, A Hero's Call, Manamon, The Veil, A Blind Legend. Just take a look at those couple playlists and you'll find them. You can follow me on Twitter at bgfh79, mixer.com/bgfh, and illegally-cited.com, which is where I list all of my projects and appearances and things like that. And like I said, just definitely, you know, you can message me on Twitter. You can leave a comment in below in this video. However you want to contact me if you're a developer and have questions about making your game more accessible. Be happy to help out. Both Riley and I would be glad to help you guys out. You know, I'm legally blind and have some vision, so I can kind of look at things from a blindness or low vision perspective. You know, she is light perception blind, so, you know, can't really see any actual visuals, and would be able to definitely be able to know if things are, you know, accessible for a completely blind player, that type of thing. There are games that are starting to do accessibility features, mainstream games, indie games, AAA games. It is starting to happen, so like I said, that's we're just trying to contribute, trying to help out, trying to give ideas for all types of games with these Access Unlocked videos. And yeah, hopefully this video was helpful for you. Just let us know if you have any questions. And until next time, we'll talk to you again later.